All right. Hello and welcome to another episode of Coffee with SamPaul, back at my local The Front Page Cafe. And today I've got a very special guest, Jason, who is a dental technician. How you going, Jason?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. And what are we drinking today, mate?
I've got hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate. Okay, I think that's the first hot chocolate I've had on the show so far. I could be mistaken. I get all kinds of things, tea, coffee, various different coffees, chai even.
Yep.
So it's always interesting. I haven't quite worked out what somebody's coffee tells me, but I know it tells me something about them. So
Yep.
I'll work it out. So you're a dental technician. So what does that entail?
I make dentures, splints, mouth guards, pretty much fulfill prescriptions from a dentist.
Yep.
So any appliance that needs to be made that the dentist needs, so like the patient needs a crown orthodontics, they send it to people like me, and then we construct them.
Okay. Yeah, very cool. What sort of got you into that? Like, because I mean, when I was coming up, as a kid through school and that, and you get asked sort of what do you want to be when you grow up and all that, like it was usually always sort of like, I guess, either the more traditional jobs, or there was like, the occasional I want to be a rock star or whatever. But I don't recall everyone saying, "Hey, I want to be a dental technician." So, look, what kind of drove you to that kind of line of work?
I actually fell into it.
Okay.
I was working for the government at a atomic weapons establishment as an apprentice mechanical engineer.
Yeah.
And I left that about 6-7 months after starting it, and I was unemployed. I just couldn't handle taking orders, and I saw an advert for a dental nurse.
Okay.
So I went for the interview at this practice, and the owner, Brian, took one look at me and said, "We do not hire men as dental nurses."
Wow.
And I went, "Fair enough, that's direct and to the point." He said, "But I do have a laboratory downstairs. Would you like to spend a couple of days in there, see how you feel, and if you like it, I'll give you an apprenticeship." So I spent the rest of the week with the guys in the laboratory, and that was it.
Yeah, wow. It's interesting because I hear that a lot with people, like they didn't have a plan to go into the work that they do. They kind of fell into it. I mean, I myself, my day job is working in a fruit shop. If you'd told me 22 years ago that I was going to work at a fruit shop for 20 years, I would have laughed, because I had eyes on internet work or computers or music, something along those lines, But here I am 20 years in, working in fruit and veg and loving it. So, and clearly you enjoy what you do.
I've been doing it nearly 33 years now, including the 5-year apprenticeship.
Yep.
We own the laboratory.
Yep.
I'm the South Australian rep for South Australia for the Dental Technicians Association. So I'm pushing for things that affect technicians in South Australia, and that's at federal level and state level, to try and make things better. We're working with the TGA because they're rewriting the system on legislation on what can be used, what can't be used, how things have to be implemented.
Yeah.
So we're having a fundamental say in that, and I have for the last 3 years been working with the TGA,
Yep.
and now I'm working with them with the Dental Technicians Association. And the next stage is to push for statewide, for national registration for technicians.
Okay.
And then with that, hopefully we'll be able to stop overseas outsourcing, or at least minimalise it so that everything stays in Australia.
Yeah, okay.
Is what I'm aiming towards.
Yeah.
And if I can get the legislation written the way that I want it written,
Yep.
I can pretty much outlaw overseas registration, overseas laboratories being used, or make it extremely difficult to use them.
Yep. Okay, that sounds like a good thing.
To me, it would be.
If you could, yeah.
Because there's a lot of bad work coming in that needs to be governed and heavily governed,
Yeah.
which isn't feasible at the moment. Whereas if we can bring in a national registration, if we can write it properly, we can heavily govern what comes in.
Okay. Well, good luck with that. I hope it goes the way you want it to. Certainly sounds to me like something that would be a good thing for Australia to have that kind of registration in place. So, forgive me because I'm not really, very familiar with dental technician work. But do you meet directly with I don't know if you call them clients, or do you liaise via like a dentist who would recommend? Does that make sense?
Sometimes I do. Everything that I do personally comes through a dentist.
Yeah.
You've got clinical technicians. They work directly with the patient, but you have to do a further course. You have a first certificate or you have a diploma in dental technology. That gives you certification to be a dental technician. Then you have the advanced diploma.
Yep.
That allows you to see the patient, take impressions, make dentures directly to the public. I'm at the level where I liaise with the dentist. I can go in and consult with the dentist.
Yeah. Okay.
If there's particular cases that are providing awkward or they need input from me. I'm a specialist in TMJ, which is temporomandibular joints, so bite issues. So a lot of what we do is splint related for grinding, repositioning jaws.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty full on.
It is, or it can be.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of input with the technology that we use, because we do a lot of 3D printing and a lot of digital.
Yeah.
I have a lot of input with the creator of the software that we use.
Okay.
So we actually can tweak the software to suit our particular needs.
Oh, wow.
Which makes it very easy to customise the programs to as we want them.
Yeah, which would make your life a lot easier, I'm sure.
It also gives us an advantage over a lot of other people.
That's really good. That's really cool. So generally, someone would go to see the dentist, and then they would refer them to you. So they take the impressions and send them to you. Is that? Yeah. So has there ever been anything like really like where you looked at the impressions and gone, oh my gosh, what the hell?
Pardon me. Quite a bit.
Because teeth is such an important thing, like for people like with their, obviously with eating and stuff, but also like confidence, because often see if someone doesn't smile very big, it's usually they're not comfortable with their teeth. So obviously it's a very important thing for a lot of people. And I've seen some pretty crazy stuff. Like when I was a kid, I used to have teeth going up here and down here, so they had to pull 4 tooth out, put braces on, and bring everything together. But that's pretty minor by comparison.
I mean, you're going to see something on a regular basis that makes you stop and look at it and go, what the fuck? Whether it be a bad impression or the anatomical abnormalities. It happens.
Yeah.
After sort of like 30 years, you've pretty much seen everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, what can we do to make this person's life better? Or how can we improve this person's appearance to where they want it, what's achievable?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it's not so much the appearance, it's how the fuck do I get from here to where they want to be?
Yeah.
Is what makes you go, which makes you stop. And that's the thing that keeps you coming back time and time and time again.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you'll see something like some cancer patients, you'll see some of the stuff that the cancer has eaten away so much of their bone, and and it's just like, how am I going to get to give them the final results that they need?
Yeah, right. Wow.
And you can spend a good 8 hours planning.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the longest I've spent is 4 days planning and testing just to make sure that I can get material, coloration, and everything right, just to finish a case.
Yeah, wow.
And that was actually a very, very simple case.
Yeah, right.
And that's for an African gentleman. I just couldn't buy a coloured acrylic suitable for his thing, so I had to literally dye an acrylic to match his mucosa.
Yeah, wow.
And that was just 4 days of trial and error just to see if I can get it to work.
Yeah.
And in the end, we ended up with a result that you would never know he was wearing a denture.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome. So I'm guessing when you come to solutions for people, you have to be somewhat fairly innovative to kind of design a solution, as you were saying before, like with...
Yeah. I mean, what you have averages.
Yeah.
So everything falls within an average parameter.
Yeah. Okay.
Or an industry standards. So anterior teeth fall in a margin of this with this kind of distance, and then you can customize it within those tolerances.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes you have to throw the rule book out the window. It all depends on what you're dealing with at the time.
Yeah, of course.
Now, obviously, with digital, throwing the rule book out the window is a lot harder.
Yeah.
Because computer programs have the industry standards, and computer programmers don't like being broken. So it's... I think the next 10, 15 years in dentistry are going to be interesting.
Yeah, right.
Especially with AI.
Yeah, oh.
Because
That's a dirty word.
that's now making it's rearing its head, and it's making some progress. And there's a lot of times I'm looking at what AI can do and I'm just laughing. It's got a long way to go.
Yeah, no, I'm actually quite nervous about AI because I come from a music background, and some of the progress they've made at the moment where they can go, write me a song like Ed Sheeran or like Metallica, and next minute there's a song that sounds, for all intents and purposes, just like Ed Sheeran or Metallica, but they've got no legal claim for the IP of that song because they didn't write it. I don't know if that would be an issue in your line of work maybe, but I know for me that kind of scares me.
What's happening now, and I don't like it, is that you got the big companies are all going to cloud-based. So all the scans are going to be going onto cloud-based scan servers, and all their design programs are going cloud-based. And they're running. What's going to happen is they're going to get this massive library in their servers of different scans, of different preps, of everything. You come across it in dentistry. There's going to be a scan on their server somewhere.
Oh, okay.
There's going to be a solution to that scan somewhere on another server. And they're going to chuck all of that through AI, and that AI is going to learn everything very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And people like me will not be needed in about 50 years' time.
Yeah.
Because you'll just go up to a computer and go, "There's my scan," and it'll go, "Oh, we saw that 20 years ago on this date at this time, and this was the solution." And this is how they did it, and it'll replicate, for that case, a solution.
Yeah.
And there's nothing anybody will be able to do about it.
Really do appreciate your time, Jason.
Oh, you're welcome.
And sharing some knowledge on something that I think a lot of people will like get something from, because I don't think a lot of us will have understood what it is that what goes into what you do. Like it's certainly a lot more involved than just a lot more involved than just walking into a dentistry office and getting a mold and then walking in another day and getting your dentures put in, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot more behind the scenes that goes into it. It's quite interesting and quite fascinating, and I really do wish you all the best with what you're trying to achieve with the registration, and just in your business in general. It sounds really, really, really interesting and fascinating. And I really appreciate you taking the time.
No, you're welcome.
So, thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
Cool. And thank you for watching.
Woo!